Episode 21, What Was Always There. Winter 1993. As autumn fades, life in Tessie begins to slow. The greenhouses fall silent. Leaves drop from the apple trees, and the last signs of the growing season disappear into the cold air. Only the apple juice production continues, quietly, steadily, emptying what remains of the harvest. Even the bees, after an unusually long and restless season, finally retreat by the end of November. But while the land prepares to rest, one place remains in constant motion: the forest. Day and night, Peeter and his men work without pause. Cutting, hauling, stacking, pushing forward before the frost and frozen ground arrive. If they arrive at all. The warmth lingers longer than it should. The soil remains soft. The season stretches beyond memory. And with every load, one truth becomes impossible to ignore: the value of the forest. For years, it stood there, silent, untouched, almost taken for granted. Now, it speaks in numbers. Numbers Peeter can hardly comprehend. Hundreds of thousands of croons. Across the valley, the change is visible. The Ilves brothers settle their debts to the King Sepp family, to Meggie, closing one chapter and stepping fully into another. But for Peeter, the weight of responsibility grows heavier. His dairy cows, living, breathing, dependent, face the coming winter in conditions he can no longer accept. They are not machines. They are part of the farm. And so, before anything else, he makes a decision. A new barn is ordered. Work begins immediately. Money is no longer just for survival. It becomes a tool for doing things properly. In the evenings, when the noise finally settles, Peeter turns to something older. A worn book. Agrology. Lessons from another time. He reads about soil, about balance, about improvement, and learns that even the land he has worked for years still holds untapped potential. pH value, a simple addition, but one that could change everything. On the farmyard, change accelerates. Another, more powerful Valmet arrives. For the first time, every worker has a machine of their own. Arvo and Peeter continue preparing land, new ground for greenhouses, space for a larger chicken coop. The farm is growing, and with it, the need for structure. The new chicken house is ordered, built properly, built to last, even as winter approaches. And in a small workshop at the edge of the valley, Leash Meggie completes her first pieces. Wool shaped by hand. Clothing ready before the cold truly arrives. Another quiet success. By the end of the year, the work slows. Machines are cleaned, stored, protected. For the first time in a long while, there is a sense of pause. And in that pause, something becomes clear to Peeter. The money from the forest changes everything, but it does not create something new. It reveals something that was always there. The land, the resources, the possibility. They were never lacking, only unseen. Saturday, January 1st, 1994. A new year begins.
Good morning, wonderful farming people, and welcome back to Vintage Survival Estonia and on Farming Simulator 25. And to the year 1994, we are now at 1st of January, and as you can see on the money icon there, we got a lot of money. So I have been working really long hours on this field project, and as you can see here, the landscape has changed a little bit. We are in here at the wood production area, and yeah, the beet fields are now done. This was a massive job, and even with the devour trees and log out the load mods, I did use them. This was just crazy big job, and I needed to bring you back now because I have such a long list on my notes, so which we can go through, and the price of the charcoal and the firewood is pretty high, or highest now, but there is quite a lot of fluctuation going on with these guys. So, and also the peat has, after the map update, the price has changed a lot, so that is not so profitable as it were in the 1.0 version, I believe, or something like that, the last version of the map. So yeah, so hang on, let's where's the peat here, or packets of charcoal here. So yeah, it was earlier 1800 something per 1,000 liters, but it's now changed to 1,400, and actually it was highest on this January. That's what I waited until here, but it seems that it has been stable as to the same price. I don't know why, but yeah. And what is peat, right? Yeah, look at this. So it says that the 8,000 on March, which is the old price, I think, but it has been that 200 all the time after the update now. But I think it won't go with like 8,000. That's ridiculous amount of money. Would have been coming there, but we have a ridiculous. Well, I don't know if it's a ridiculous amount of money for the amount of work that I've done. So I'm not feeling bad about that money, because I have worked a lot of hours with this guy. But this came out pretty nice, as you can see here. So I got the water planes done here, and it looks pretty realistic. So the most amount of water is down here, and it has been, here's a little bit less, which is, flowing downwards, and here is a little bit more or less. So I think this came out pretty awesome, and in April we get to make these finalize these fields, and quite a lot has happened. Let's take a look of the what should I show? Yeah, let's go to the. We'll go. I start to load that sucker, and we'll go by by step, which how they are in my notes. So I'm not going to So that way I'm not going to miss anything, but I'm not going to deliver the firewood yet because we have sold everything, and actually there was not a great demand on there now. But obviously also the leasing cost was pretty high. I haven't checked how big that was, but I think it was tens of thousands of euros. But yeah, so yeah, I did sell wood chips a lot, and I used the 500,000 liter unrealistic capacity trailer of this, and I delivered like I don't know, 6 times. So I made from the wood chips I made 1.5 million 41,088. Hang on, let's do that. Say that again. 1,541,884 crores. So 1.5 million on that. And then Noah Tom's sawmill is running full capacity. That his stock is full, and I sold. Hang on. Where's the wood? Yeah, I sold. Yeah, on that it's included in that 1.5 million. So I sold for him 335,200 wood that gone there. So on this plot on this our old forest we got like 1.2 million. Yeah, that's how it was. And firewood went worth of 32,000, and this charcoal went like 25,000. So that is the amount. And also quite a lot of investments also. So I bought that big pickup which you saw, and it was in the why do I move there from there, because they are spawning all the time, so you can fit. So yeah, the pickup I bought 14,000, and then I bought that which you saw on the intro that Piast line spreader, but it had a little issues with that spraying line to get the width right. The workers didn't like that at all, so I'm using that as a fertilizer spreader, and realized that the fourth script trailer would also do line, so that works really good. So yeah, and I did study a little bit of acrology. I don't know what is it called, agrologia books, and I realized that we could use the line here and get a little bit more crops out of the ground with that, and this soil actually needed it. So we have now, I tried to put lime on those grass fields, but they didn't accept it. I don't know why. And also on this field here are was it oats? No, it's not oats, it's barley. Yeah, it didn't accept it also. But I don't know. does it has to be now? Because I usually play with precision farming, so I'm not sure about this doing it vanilla base. So I don't know how that acts, that grass and lining thing, but we'll see. I will try to do it again on the grass fields after the first cut. So we'll see about that one. And another Valmet has arrived, or I bought it with the front loader. I actually realized that I really need it. And I did. And it has been making things a little bit more easier. You know, have another front loader, don't have to drive back, back and forth with this seater here. So this can be kind of a dedicated thing from here. And there is also actually Valmet Mega used tractor on the Tom's yard, but we'll see. Obviously, we have the money, but quite a lot of investments is coming. But actually, we can see now. Let's take a little flight here. So I have also with Arvo, I have modified these. And here is this is pretty much ready for our our orchards and actually chicken coop. So this part is going to be a really big chicken pasture. The same company has made it as the new cow barn, winter barn. So that is one thing. I couldn't bear that my animals are freezing in the cold. So yeah, the chicken coop is getting full. So actually, it's right now pretty full. So they will come here and start building that. So yeah, and let's take a look of that barn here, just quickly like so, and maybe we'll go see it at some point here because we need to feed those animals. I think so, but it's now pretty awesome. You know, it wasn't too expensive. It was like hang on, I don't know where it is on my 70,000, so not too bad. And the chicken barn looks pretty much like this, and it's I don't know, was it 80,000? I can't remember, but yeah, the one I sold the silage out of here, and that one is now deleted. So and this one is open, but we still have that one left. So quite a lot. Things are going pretty fast. I somehow I feel like that. And what was the size? I can't read. So it was 5 times 4,200. So 20k came out of the silage which we have here at here. So that was pretty good. Also, yeah. Where's the other one? So just so confused by I made myself so confused that I don't know where I am. Yeah, and also I bought this Finnish-made Aku trailer, which is actually it's lizard in the game here, but it's actually real model, and it really is common here, like trailer, that kind of a trailer. It is so used that oh no, let's go like so that this will catch these. Those triggers are pretty pesky, and yeah. Let's see, this is just fine. I will sell these guys away in this channel. Let's just strap them down. I think I have a little bit of also there I have a little bit of apple juice to sell. I think so. Yeah, let's jump here. Here is actually the tractor, yeah. So this I bought, this was pretty. And as you can see the difference, this is four-wheel drive. So that's pretty awesome. And it's a tune model, so I think it has like 110 30 horsepower, so that is pretty awesome. And everything is put away for this winter, but the snow, I'm really disappointed on this map for the snow because it doesn't stay. It does not stay. It comes down, but it doesn't stay 2 days in a row. So no snow work. I was really hoping for that. But here's the trailer. I took the sides away from this and try to maybe the pallets don't go as crazy. But I think this guy needs an update. But this is really common here in Finland actually. And yeah, it's a Finnish made trailer. So also Ilves brothers are pretty much paid their debt to Maggie and for us, and I sold the rest of the oats. I sold for them, so it's better them do process that of flour, and I get a top price for the oats. So that was one thing that went, but they are through doing reasonably good, and yeah, and obviously all the greenhouses and orchards are now out of production. They withered away, so we are just hanging on with these. So yeah, what else? Don't want to do this, make this too long. Maybe we'll go and sell this 10,000 liters. So what was it? 14. So 14k. Is it? Yeah. No. What the hell? One more mathematics. Yeah, 14,000. I don't know what's written by it. And yeah. So every equipment is washed and put away, so we are just waiting for winter. That in my head winter is, a lot of snow and cold, but it's not coming. I think so. Yeah. And first the cows that came first to our farm are sold. They went to meat. They were so old. They gave birth, the dairy cows, and I sold them with 3 of them and bought 5 more new cows instead, so to replace them. So a little bit close enough, same cash went in and went out, and got 2 more cows in there. What else? Winter barn for the cows. Yeah, that was. I needed to. And as you saw on the crossroads, the roadside selling stool, or what is it called, has been dismantled now. And yeah, but the one thing is kind of strange, because beginning of the series, I'm really, struggling with money and things like that. But now we have 1.1 million, and after the update, we are not even halfway to get those big peat areas. So it's kind of feels like a little bit strange, because yeah, we are way off the target yet still, and which I said on the beginning, but we have a lot of money, so I need to try to hold on to those and make some more. But it's really tempting to buy new gear, and I think that needs to be done. But I'm just waiting for good used equipment. So that is probably the best way to get. I would really like to get faster transport for these pallets and things like that. So if it doesn't come, probably will, buy a new truck, because we are millionaires now. Or actually, yeah. We have always been millionaires, but we didn't realize it. Yeah, because we've got so much assets on the forest. But yeah, and still have. And even we have cut a lot of trees down. Let's see the 14K. I'm just gonna drive through here like so it takes quickly. Up. Yeah, that is. So this guy, this is pretty new. Couple of years old. Wow, I would like this. Maybe it's time to upgrade one of those guys. Those. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And there's also Peeter equipment coming in here. I have obviously talked to Tams that I need this. So this is, yeah, pretty sweet. Not sure about the price. And as you can see, the yard is here also quite empty, so they got everything here. They have been switching up stuff, but here is the I think the most expensive things. You know, the harvester is there also, waiting for the snow that will never come. I think so. Yeah, or stay. It's just periodical. I don't know. Yesterday English word. Yeah, but I think that's enough blabbering for me, and I will just sell that, continue selling that wood products until April. Yeah, I think we don't have not much to do until April, because then we will uh, start doing those peat things. So that is a new thing. Things are just repeating themselves. I think so. Most part of it. On this episode, yeah, we're gonna jump to the spring. So yeah, I think I will see you on April if we can check out those peat things, or if there is a lot of stuff happening, maybe in March. We'll see, but this probably will take days for me and seconds for you. Yeah, change of plans. So we're still on January 1st, and here are the rest of the pallets of charcoal. So 12,000, and actually, if you take a look, this is how these should be. This way should be loaded on a trailer, because yeah, it's kind of a more realistic way, and you get all the space utilized, which is available. So, but I took a look at my last blabbering bit, so it was already 22 minutes. So I'm gonna make a change that get this episode out, and it will be, not too long, and that way separate these two. And I think before the next episode you will see, a little bit outro coming on after this, and intro on the next episode, what has been going on during this winter. And I will see you then in April on the next one. What's been going on.
Winter arrives, but not as expected. The ground remains unfrozen. Snow does not come. The work continues. Construction of the new chicken house begins immediately, taking advantage of conditions no one fully understands. To keep pace with growing operations, Peeter makes another investment, a truck. For the first time, the farm gains real transport capacity, faster, more efficient, more independent. In the new barn, the dairy cows settle quickly. Warmer calmer, and soon more productive. Milk begins to increase, and in the forest, the work does not stop. Timber continues to leave the farm, carrying with it the foundation of the farm's income. For now, the trees remain the strongest pillar, but for how long? Join us and subscribe to the channel for episode 22 and coming peat work.